All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. It is about 20 days to Democracy Day, and after 26 years of democracy, Nigeria is still confronted with the problems we've had at the beginning of democracy. Only this time around, the problems are 20 times worse, and they have given birth to newer species of problems that have now effectively reduced the nation into a living hell. We have over 18 million out of school children, according to UNESCO's last report. When you know the role of education in shaping the future of a country, you realize that no development plan or policy matters when you have 18 million children out of school. The future can never be auspicious with an illiterate population. Then we have unemployment, hunger, poverty, and above all, insecurity. And that is why Peter Obi is saying the labor of our heroes past are in vain as it stands now, unless we do something to save the present situation. And few hours ago, an update dropped from senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. Falana is calling on the youth of Nigeria to lead a revolution to restore democracy back to West African states. He said because democracy has totally vanished from West Africa. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update, Senate President Godswill Akpabio began to attack Peter Obi in a video on the floor of the Senate. He began reading out his achievements as governor of Akwa Ibom State, suggesting that he was a better governor than Peter Obi. Then he asked Obi to fix the problems in the Labour Party before talking about fixing Nigeria. But Nigerians came down heavily on Godswill Akpabio. They began reading out his other credentials to him. They read out to him how he was a looter. They read out his sexual harassment portfolio. And of course, they crowned it up with his financial recklessness. It is funny how a man like Godswill Akpabio would attempt to compare himself with a rare gem like Peter Obi. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video from Tinubu's campaign in Anambra today. He called it a visit, but he turned it into a campaign rally. See the video.
I have taken serious note of various challenges facing the state and your request for assistance and partnership. Anambra, as the Gully erosion capital of the world, we will do everything to make ecological investment that we remediate it. Anambra and Southeast have huge gas deposit. That is true, but largely bypassed by National Gas Master Plan. I assure you that will be rectified. Abandoned federal road projects that link Anambra to Kogi, they can become the fastest gateway between Abuja and Anambra South and South-South. I agree. Anambra completely bypassed by the Rail Master Plan. I'm standing before you that this already designed and Ministry of Transportation is aware to include the connection in the Master Plan, and it will see attention. With our progressive...
You saw that. Now, that was full-blown campaign. Less than 2 years into a tenure, I have never seen anything like this before. You are campaigning less than 2 years into your tenure. But of course, I don't believe a single thing he said. If he eventually goes ahead to do any of those things he said he was going to do before 2027, then congratulations to the people of Anambra. But if it is promise for votes, I promise you, then you vote for me. I will simply refer the people of Anambra to his past promises, the ones that he made during the 2023 presidential campaign. He said, by all means, you will have electricity and you will not pay for estimated billing anymore. If I don't do it, don't vote for me when I come back for second term. Where is that electricity he promised today? Have you seen it? Because I have not seen it. Then he said insecurity will become a thing of the past. It is worse today. Insecurity is worse in today's Nigeria. He said education will be affordable. No more will our children be denied education because of fees. That was what he said. Today, we have more out-of-school children than ever in our history. And of course, Tinubu said after removing subsidy, we will no longer depend on loans to run Nigeria. Today, the same man has taken more loans in 2 years than Buhari took in 5 years. The only promise he has effectively kept is his promise to continue from where Buhari stopped. He has done that one effectively because his own disaster is double, I dare say triple, the one that Buhari put on Nigerians. So, to the people of Anambra, believe him at your own peril. Very shameless man. You abandoned governance less than 2 years into your regime and you have started lying up and down in the name of campaigns. This is disgraceful, to say the least. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that update from Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, calling on the youths of this country to lead a revolution, further buttressing Peter Obi's claim that the labor of our heroes past is in vain and something urgently needs to be done. And next is that funny attack on Peter Obi by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, which had many Nigerians mocking Akpabio as he dropped concurrently with an update on his saga with Natasha. Let's start by taking that update from Femi Falana. Look at how the papers reported it. Falana calls for youth-led revolution to revive democracy in ECOWAS, critiques governance in regional bloc. The state of democratic governance in the Economic Community of West African States region has reached a critical point, according to renowned Nigerian human rights lawyer and activist Femi Falana SAN. Speaking at a regional conference on sustainable youth participation in governance, Falana sharply criticized the deterioration of democratic institutions across the region and called for a youth-led revolution to restore the principles of democracy and social justice. Now, Falana may be a controversial figure in so many ways, but the truth is a youth-led revolution is the only way out of the mess we are in this country. So I will take the message and leave the messenger here. Politicians are not willing to let go. 23 months into a disastrous regime, a man is already going about the whole place campaigning. Public debt is above $140 billion and the country is still borrowing. That is a disaster, to say the least. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update from Femi Falana, that video from Senate President Godswill Akpabio began making the rounds. See the video.
And yet, when somebody makes a statement that the labors of our heroes past are in vain, I beg to disagree. Let our brother Peter Obi show leadership like Edwin Clark did by resolving first the crisis in the Labour Party. For a man who wants to run Nigeria, you have one of the smallest parties in Nigeria, and you cannot even resolve the crisis in that Labour Party. Is it the crisis of Boko Haram that you will come and resolve in Nigeria? I would like us to be known for what we did when we had the opportunities. As I speak now, I can tell you about the dualized thoroughfares in my state. I can tell about the flyovers in my state. I can tell about the best international hospital in my state. I can tell about the monuments of government houses that are built, both for the governor and deputy. I'm one of the best digitalized governor's office in Nigeria. I can tell you about the best international stadium in West Africa. I can tell you about the free and compulsory education that I did for all Nigerians. I can tell you about the unity I brought in religion by sponsoring over 5,800 Muslims to the Holy Land and over 12 to 15,000 Christians to Rome and to Jerusalem. But then, those who are aspiring as presidential candidates and trying to cause division with their mouths, using the social media, tell them to resolve the small crisis in the smallest party they have in Nigeria first, before they come to talk about the larger Nigeria. But for the social media, it is unregulated. I wish you luck as you have a field day. I'm saying this because this is what Edwin Clark would have advised if he were alive. So I've started to speak his voice. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And on that note, may we rise to observe 1 minute silence in honor of this icon.
You saw that. Now, that was a laughable attempt of Senate President Godswill Akpabio at comparing himself with His Excellency Peter Obi. Now, before I say anything on this issue of comparison, let me drop some updates on this shameless man Akpabio, because I want to first of all separate these two men. Let's take this first one. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has filed a new lawsuit against suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, accusing her of mocking him in a satirical apology posted on social media. That's the man that is comparing himself with Peter Obi. He is suing for mockery. He asked for an apology letter, and Natasha wrote a letter mocking him, a satire as an apology. That is the one he's suing for, not the sexual harassment allegation. Can you just imagine the clown that this man is? Somebody disgraced you before the whole world. You are not suing for that one. You are suing for the fact that she mocked you in a letter. Now, let's take this video from Joy Nune, the former MD of NDDC, accusing Akpabio of sexual harassment. See the video.
The woman, the only Nigerian woman that has slapped his face.
Why did you slap him? Why did you slap him?
He slapped him because of his plan B. He thought that he could, since he couldn't get me to take that money, he thought that plan B, if it could come up on me. He didn't know that I'm a Port Harcourt girl. Port Harcourt girls are not moved by money, by somebody telling me that you will make me a substantive MD. The Port Harcourt girls are
Can
not
we clarify this? Because we can't gloss over a slap. What is the plan B? He came up on you. What exactly does that mean?
We were having a meeting. Akpabio's meeting with me is either in Apple or at Meridian or whatever. Those are his meetings. I slapped him.
Well, Joy, are you accusing Senator Akpabio of attempted rape? Is that the point you are making? Or sexual harassment?
Harassment sounds better, not rape.
Okay, so you are accusing him expressly of sexual harassment?
Yes, I am accusing him.
You saw that. That was ex-MD of NDDC saying, I slapped him. I slapped Akpabio because he sexually harassed me. So I just established there that Akpabio is not a man that can put himself in the same conversation with Peter Obi. Let us establish that as a fact. But since they were both governors, let us begin to compare. Akpabio was talking about building flyovers, building stadium, and building hospitals. And he said he sent people on Hajj. He spent money to send thousands of Muslims on Hajj. That means he created unity. Akpabio, you built hospitals. But Peter Obi was named best governor for the health sector in the whole of Nigeria because of his reforms, because of how he revived the entire sector in Anambra State. So you changed a building, but Obi influenced an institution. That is the difference between you two. You built schools, but Obi was voted best governor for education after Anambra moved from 28th to 1st in WAEC and NECO and JAMB nationwide. You changed buildings, but Obi influenced that institution, that educational institution. That is the difference between the two of you. You sent many Muslims on Hajj and you inflated the cost per head 5 times over. You were just doing contract, making your own money, but Peter Obi wined and dined with Muslims in their mosques as a governor of Anambra State. So while you were doing contract with Muslims, Obi was winning souls. That is the difference between the two of you. Just to mention a few, you left Akpabio State in humongous debt after your tenure, to the point that the next governor was struggling to pay salaries. But Peter Obi cleared the huge debts he met on ground, not the ones that he incurred, the debts that he met from the governor before him. He cleared the debt and then left millions of dollars in savings in 3 different banks for Anambra State, thereby opening a path for real development. That is what governance is all about. Not just building flyovers and building houses that after a while, Nigeria with their poor maintenance culture, they will not even maintain. Then everything would dilapidate. The next governor comes in, he starts building again. When he leaves, that one will dilapidate. No, that is not governance. That is why you people are a waste of space. Mr. Sexual Harasser Akpabio, don't ever compare yourself with Peter Obi. Obi is a red gem. We live in a country today where all the economic indices are in the negative. Unemployment widespread. Small-scale businesses are closing down. The president of small-scale businesses nationwide came out the other day and he said millions of businesses have folded. They said the daily consumption of petrol in Nigeria has reduced by over 60%. And we know that it is petrol. Petrol is the energy that drives our economy. So whenever you hear that there is a reduction in the consumption of petrol, it means that there is a reduction in productivity. And of course, that is why our GDP has dropped lowest since 1960. That was what the African Development Bank came up with. Nigeria's gross domestic product as it stands is lower than what it was in 1960. So calculate how many years back has the Tinubu administration taken us. Tinubu there in Aso Rock, Akpabio seated there in the Senate. This combination will never yield anything good for Nigeria. And that is why I keep telling Nigerians that for us to have a country that we can be proud of, hell, for us to have a country at all in the near future, we must come together, cast aside our sentiments, and get rid of the APC. But until then, make I still enter town, make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because now because of now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go.